I want to bring in Jonathan Schanzer, Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for Defensive Democracies and former counterterrorism analyst at the U.S. Treasury Department. Great to see you today, Jonathan. So Jennifer Griffin was just explaining that there'll be a little bit of a time gap before our carrier group can get there and we can engage in a meaningful way so that people look offshore and they see us there mightily. What can happen in that time? Are we looking at diplomacy, a hotter situation? What?
Well, I think we're going to see a hotter situation. There's no question about it. The Iranians are under a lot of pressure. Our sanctions are now really taking a bite out of the Iranian economy. Tensions are rising as a result of that designation of the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which really represents a significant chunk of the Iranian economy and really the most aggressive actors within the Iranian regime. So they're unhappy. It sounds as if the White House has seen some intelligence that has caused concern. We've put them on notice now that we're not going to stand for it, and that perhaps that just making this announcement could serve as a deterrent.
You know, I've always been curious in past and even present talk about calling them a terrorist group. What is true about the Iranian Revolutionary Guard?
Well, the Revolutionary Guard has something called the Quds Force, and that's already been designated for several years now. And this is the group that engages in terrorism around the world. It trains other terrorists around the world. But then you have the IRGC itself, which is also very much a core part of that terror apparatus, as well as the missiles, the nuclear component of what the Iranians have been trying to build. They really are the most malign actors from within what is already regarded as a terror sponsoring state.
As we send this aircraft carrier group and more to that region, what do you anticipate will be the response right off?
Well, you know, look, the Iranians are in kind of a tough spot. They certainly don't want to provoke the United States to the point where the U.S. Has to respond. In the past, what we've seen is the harassment of U.S. ships, right? We've seen some of these speedboats and other things. The way that it was described in the past as unprofessional behavior, this was a common refrain during the Obama administration. Those harassments have stopped over the last several years. The question is whether the Iranians return to them, knowing that this administration may have a little less tolerance for that kind of behavior.
Yeah, it's interesting. We went on ahead after all that and did a deal with them. Very confusing.
Right.
This president said, no way, we're backing out of that. President Trump is downplaying today North Korea's latest missile test, Jonathan, saying that Kim Jong-un doesn't want to break his promise to him and that they will reach a deal on denuclearization. Saturday's test of new short-range missiles is considered the most serious since 2017. Where are we with North Korea? And is the president right? Kim Jong-un doesn't want to break a promise.
Well, I think the president's making a mistake here. I think the proper response to a provocation like this is to return to that maximum pressure campaign that we were all cheering about a year ago. The response here is to let him know that additional sanctions are going to come every time he steps out of line, letting him know that we mean business. I think that it's been a mistake to rely only on diplomacy here, knowing that this regime has really mastered the art of provocation.
Yeah, I look at this, though, timing with what's going on with China and the trade deal and all of that. North Korea not missing a beat with this because they are together in that nexus, if you will. Good to see you, Jonathan. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.